It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light. I just want to remind you, elect, that these circumstances that you're in are for your good. I mean, no matter what it is, because it's going to look like at times that it ain't good. It's going to look like something bad may be happening to you. Or maybe something that you wanted or desired, it got hindered. It got hindered or blocked. Did you know that was for your good? Did you know that was for your blessing? Sometimes I say words like, but y'all the coldest. Yahushua's the coldest, right? Where I'm from, when we say the coldest, that means the best, untouchable, unfuckwittable, if you will. Can't be effed with, okay? That's the coldest, right? Well, Yahushua ain't the only one. He said, the things that you see me do, they who come after me will do greater things. So then he ain't the only one chosen, you see? He's the only begotten. But through him, we become him, you see? All members of one body. And so if we suffer with Christ, we shall likewise reign with Christ, be glorified with Christ. So this life you live in, this temporary life, it's temporal, okay? In case you ain't paid attention to all the people around you that have died and passed on. It's a temporary existence. If you just could remember that, then you wouldn't sweat nothing that happens to you. Though it may look like something that just is devastating to you, man. Something that you may not feel, you think you can't recover from it. If you thinking like that, then you just haven't read Job. You just ain't read him. That talked about the distresses that he went through and the things that he suffered in his own body, with his children, his own wife, his friends, all the things that people of this world hold value. All those relationships that they think are valuable, all those things that they think are valuable, they're just temporary, man. So, but what's eternal? What is everlasting? If you knew what was everlasting and what was eternal, and if you call yourself wise, then wouldn't you hang on to that? Despite the allurement of the temporary things? I mean, it's a strange thing, ain't it? When we sit back and think about this life, when we were growing up and we thought that this all that mattered, trying to get people to clap when they see you is all that mattered. Trying to get your money up is all that mattered. Trying to get the latest fashions and the nicest clothes is all that mattered. Trying to get the latest car and the nicest car is all that mattered. Trying to get the prettiest girl was all that mattered. Trying to have all the good sex you could have was all that mattered. Trying to eat all of the best food was all that mattered. Trying to drink all of the best drinks was all that mattered. Trying to be among the shot callers and the movers and shakers of the world was all that mattered. Trying to keep up with the Joneses was all that mattered. Getting your education higher was all that mattered. All of those things was all that mattered when you were in the world. And isn't it strange when you get pulled out of it and you're elected and you're chosen out and sanctified? You know, it's a little off subject. I just thought about this though. Isn't it interesting when people read the Bible and they read words like holy and they don't even know what that means. They read words like sanctified, and they don't even know what it means. They don't understand what it means. They have some fanciful ideal in their mind of what holy is. You see, you elect, you're holy. Now, do you match people's ideals of what holy and sanctified is? Nope. But yet, there you are, off to your own, in the wilderness. Out there with nature, away from the city, away from the concrete jungle. It's where you find your peace. It's where you find your connection to the voice of Abba Yah, when you're separated from the world. So like I said, isn't that strange? So you think about all of these people that wake up every day like you used to. That's why I love doing what I do. You know, Abba created me to give this word in great clarity. And I thank the Most High that he did that. And you know why? Because all of those things that I thought that were valuable, I come to find out that they weren't. And he woke me out of it. And I love being able to look back into the world and not be confounded or ashamed, because I know what you're doing. I know what he's doing, and I know what she's doing, because I used to do it. See, that's why I say I love being who I am and doing what I'm doing and being on this side of the river. I love it because it makes it easy. Nobody can confound you, man. Nobody can trick you when you elect. Because all they can do is the shit you used to do. Their tactics are things that you used to do. So I'm always using a boxer because it's very easy to understand this for anybody. If you and I are boxing for the championship, and yet I'm doing a bunch of new shit you've never seen, so you can't study no film on me because I'm always doing something new. Yet you are always doing the old shit I used to do. Who has the advantage in the ring? You see why I can evade your right hand? Because I know when you're going to throw it, because that's when I used to throw it. When I made that move, I used to throw my right hand, so I just move out the way because I know that's what you're doing. You see how I parried your body shot? You tried to hit me in the liver, but I parried it because I knew you were going to throw that left hook to the body ahead of time. When you make certain moves, I know you have no choice but to commit yourself to a certain move. Do you understand what I'm saying? I may be speaking as something hard to be understood, but I hope y'all then cleaned out the earwax by now and can hear the grandson speaking to you. When you throw a punch, there are certain telltale signs that happen before you throw the punch. So when I'm on defense, I'm not looking for the punch. I'm looking for the telltale signs of the punch that's coming. And there are certain telltale signs that you must do in order to connect with that punch. Y'all understand me? You must. If you want to throw a right hand, you have to plant your feet a certain way. You have to throw your right hand. And it can only come from a certain number of angles and trajectories because it's coming from your right hand. Now, I've calculated all possible trajectories and angles because I know how to throw the right hand because I used to do it back in the day too. See how this working? In other words, we can use that as pornography, drug use, drinking, lust, fornication, whatever you niggas in the world is doing, I done it and know how to do it. So like I say, when you have this type of knowledge, you sit back and you watch everybody else go by the elements of this world. What does that mean, grandson? That means people act based off of what has happened that day. So if something they consider bad happens to them that day, watch how they act. elect. Y'all better listen to the grandson today because it's giving you nuggets of knowledge that'll keep you safe in this world. See, because your job is to not get caught up in other people's tornadoes and whirlwinds. And as an empathetic person or an empath, that is what you have done. You cannot help but feel the people's energy around you because you are sensitive to it. Because you're sensitive to the energy in the room, you are very careful about the energy you give to other people. You're very conscientious of that. So when other people come in the room with negative energy, you feel it. And you wished that they were able to have self-control and to correct their energy and not let it spill over into you or anybody else. That's what you would hope. But most people are not able to. You see that? So when you were ignorant, you used to just get caught up in their energy. Well, what's going on? And there's no remedy for their problem. I don't know. I just don't feel good. Well, what you want to do? I don't know. And somebody's just down. There's nothing you can do about it. Then you keep on moving. And your I am energy, which is what you didn't know how to do before when you were moved by the elements of the world. Their energy affected you. And you became frustrated. And you see why Abba calls Israel into the wilderness for a time of cleansing from the elements of the world, how to think differently. Watch this. What did Abba feed the children of Israel with in the wilderness? Manna from heaven, correct? See how they had to have faith in a new thing, manna? That had not happened for people before, but it happened for them. Water from a rock, guys. But it happened for them to give them a new way of thinking and out of fear and unbelief, which is where they were when they were slaves. So the same thing for the elect. You had a slave mindset. And you say, oh my God, no, they didn't have had a slave. Just like they said to Yahusha, we be of Abraham's seed. We've never been slaves. You see? Yet you've been slave to sin. Calm your pride down, and then you could hear the grandson, and then you could hear and see your sins for what they are. If you would just calm your pride and ego down some. You were all slaves. I'll prove it to you. That house you're working for, that car that you pay that car note and high-ass insurance and all that for, let me take it away from you right now, and let's see if your feelings will change. That woman you got, let me take her away from you, and let's see if your feelings will change. That child you have, let me slay that child and see if your feelings will change. And you say, well, that God doesn't require you to, what do you mean? Of course, anybody's feelings would change. Christ said, if you love your own child more than me, then you ain't worthy of me. So then, like I told you, let me kill your child and see if your feelings will change. Y'all think change mean you don't feel it. I mean, you feel it. Hear what I'm saying to y'all. You can feel it without changing. Did you hear me? When I say I don't change, if the circumstance comes to me that is unpleasant, it doesn't mean I don't feel it. I do feel it. But I change not. Because I always hang on to his word in everything that happens to me. Not some things, everybody. Every single thing that happens in my life, I seek Abba Yah about it. Abba, what is? Just like my child would do to me. Y'all call him God. You notice I call him Abba? Do you know what that means? Okay then. So just like your child goes, Daddy, why? Daddy, but why? Daddy, how come the bird can fly but the snake can't fly? You explain it. But Daddy, but why? Well, why does the bird have wings? Daddy, why does the bird have feathers? The dog doesn't have feathers. What does he have? Fur. How come people don't have fur? We have hair? They're always doing that. They're always doing that. So then I'm always doing that with Abba. I lost my house. I was like, Abba, why this? He said, because I'm bringing you into a new thing. I said, okay. Did I feel the hurt of it? Yes. But I said, okay. Then my wife divorced me. I said, oh, Abba, why this happening? Hold on. He said, because I'm giving you a new thing. I said, okay, I feel it, but okay, I still trust you. So she went on her way. Ooh, took the kids away. I said, ooh, Abba, wait a minute, hold on. My babies, hold up a second here. He said, do you love them more than me? I say, no. He says, didn't I tell you I was giving you a new thing? I said, well, yeah. He says, look at Job. Didn't Job's children get killed in a freak accident? I said, yeah. He said, didn't I give him new? I said, yes. And better? Yes, you did, Abba. So I said, okay. And many people did not understand. My mother and my father especially. They say, hey, you need to call those kids. You need to go over there. You need to this. You need to that. I said, okay, I'll prove it. I called my ex-wife. My mother, father, and sisters were there. I have no brothers. So my mother, my father, and my sisters were in the house. We're at my sister's house, all gathered together. I called my ex-wife and I said, hey, all my family's here. They want to see the kids. I want to see them. I haven't seen them. Can we see them? She says, if you want to see them, we could have to meet somewhere like a Chuck E. Cheese or something. So I went and told my mother what my ex-wife said. I said, she says we have to meet at a Chuck E. Cheese or something. She can't just bring them over. My mom says, why can't she just bring them over here? Like she always had did in the past. Just because y'all going through what y'all going through, she can't bring the kids over here? I said, well, ask her, talk to her. Well, my sister is irritated as well. She grabs the phone and says, you can't bring the kids over here? No, I would rather meet somewhere in a public place and blah, 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 blah. What? My sister hung up on her. My sister, who was very self-controlled, very responsible woman, hung up on her. I said, did y'all all see what I'm talking about? What I have to go through, the games and the hoops? I say, I want to see my kids this weekend. She says, maybe next weekend. The next weekend comes. I says, hey, you said next weekend. I would like to see my kids this weekend. Oh, well, I'm enjoying their company. Hey, what about next week? Can I see the kids next week? Oh, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask my mom. What? That's what I was going through. Then I consulted Abba and said, Abba, the only way I'm able to see or talk to my children is via FaceTime. I'm being blocked. I went over there to my mother-in-law's house, which is where my ex-wife and children live. I went over there to see them. My ex-mother-in-law told me I was not allowed to come into the house. For no apparent reason, nothing had happened. She just told me, no, you can't. So like I say, I'm being restricted all of a sudden, and just all of a sudden out the blue, to seeing them through FaceTime only. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And that wasn't enough for me, so I increased it to 2 days. She agreed, so I was every Tuesday and Thursday. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. for half an hour, 2 times a week. And I'm supposed to raise my children like that? I'm supposed to have a positive impact in their lives like that when I'm in the same city they are in? So you see the games that they'll make you play if you continue in that world of folly? Well, all praises to Abba Yah, I flipped the script and I dipped. The thing that nobody expected me to do. Because everybody that knew me knew what kind of father I was and what kind of man I am. You see? So there was no way they expected me to go into the wilderness instead with Abba. But when Abba Yah calls, his son will answer the call And it's that simple. What does he say? My sheep know my voice. Do y'all hear his words are true? A man living his life with 5 children and a wife, in a career, walked away from all of it and went into the wilderness with his father because his father called him. And his father showed himself to him as well, which confirmed me letting go. Because I was back and forth for a while in my heart and in my mind about letting go of those things. And y'all know I was, just like you would be if Abba told you to separate from those things that you hold dear, like your children. You see? And for all of y'all who think that wouldn't have happened to a righteous man, that Abba would tell him to do that, let's see here. There was a man named Abraham. There is a man named Abraham. And Abraham was the friend of God, it is written. God's friend. Abraham was a man of faith, and any man who lives by faith is the child of Abraham and an heir according to the promises made to Abraham. So I said all that about Abraham to say that it's very clear that Abba Yah has chosen Abraham as his friend and his elect to make a covenant with him. So would you call Abraham righteous or unrighteous? What would you call him? Okay then. Let's see if Abba Yah will ask a righteous man to separate from the child that he loves. Abraham had a child named Ishmael with a woman named Hagar. And Abba Yah through Sarah, told Hagar and Ishmael to leave Abraham's house and go into the wilderness. And when Abba Yah confirmed to Abraham that he was supposed to indeed do this very thing, it says that it greatly distressed Abraham. So did Abraham feel it? Well, have you experienced great distress? I have. It's your heart is pounding in your throat. Your eyes are big and welled with tears. Your mouth is agape and open. You have a look of horror on your face. You don't know if you're even breathing in that moment. You are without strength and weak in the knees. Your bowels are loosened. Your strength is gone out from you. And you are helpless in that moment completely. That is what Abraham felt. That is what's called greatly distressed. I know because I felt it when I let my little children's hands go. And I stood there on that curb and watched that car drive away with my children in it, a car that I had purchased for my wife as a gift. I watched it ride away, never to return to me again, with her and those children in it. After I stood there with the doors open, just looking at them, I didn't have words for that moment. I just looked at them. I just looked at them. Our oldest daughter, who was 5 at the time, our son, who was 3 at the time, our little daughter, who was 1 at the time, and her being pregnant with our second son. And it greatly distressed me in that moment. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn in that moment. Except to my father, with words like, Help me, Father, help me. Make it right and restore me. Vindicate me. Help me through this, Father. Show me the way. I can't see. I don't know what to do, so you show me. So the thing greatly distressed Abraham, and he took some food and some water, and he gave it to Hagar, and he sent her out into the wilderness until he couldn't see them anymore, and his son that he loved. This same man, after the thing that greatly distressed him, which was sending his son Ishmael away, this same man took his beloved son Isaac and laid him upon an altar with intent to slay him if it were required by Abba Yah. So you do the same today. You be ready. Abraham was prepared to do what he had to do. Remember when Isaac asked, he said, Father, I see the wood for the sacrifice. You know, I see the stuff that we're going to use to make a sacrifice, but where is the sacrifice? Father Abraham said, Abba Yah will provide. And he did. He said, Abraham, hold up, partner. Hold up, my boy. I know you love me. So do you see, children of Israel and strangers who have been called out and have connected themselves to the nation of Israel? Do y'all hear this beauty? Those who would condemn a man for making the choice that I made, to only do it in righteousness. If it's going to be unrighteous, and if you're going to play these games, I'm not going to be a part of it then. I'm only going to deal in truth. Woman, do I love these kids? Nah. Anybody listen to this message, if y'all was going to go talk to my baby mama right now and ask her, do I love my kids? Her answer is going to be yes. So then explain why I ain't seen them then. Now she's going to have to explain that to Abba Yah, not me. Not me. That don't sound right. Do the man love his kids? Yeah, he sure do. I know he do. Shit. I know he does. Well, then why you won't even just bring the kids to them so they can get that love from their father? Gosh, this world we live in, some fathers don't even want to be involved in their children's life, and you're going to stand in the gap and block him? Okay. Okay then. But like I said, you see, Abba Yah is checking your heart to see. If you just say, I can't let go, well, then that means you love that thing more than Abba. That's what it means. You fell for the temporal world illusion. You fell for it. You believed it. The only thing that is real is what Abba says is real. Israel. Y'all hear me? That's why the only people Abba Yah got is called Israel people. Do y'all hear me talking to y'all right now or what? What's the name of Abba Yah's people? The people that is real. Now what about the other people? They all Gentiles, Abba call them, heathens. Only the real people is Abba's, that he called them Israel. Okay? So he want to see if you is real. And how do you know what's real? Like I told you, only what comes down from above. Remember, you shall have a son of promise. Abraham heard that from an angel sent by Abba Yah. Remember, Sarah laughed about it. So then, was Ishmael a son of promise? Listen at it, y'all. So then my children that I was watching drive away in the truck, were they children of promise? You see, only what Abba Yah has for me, what's true, is what I want, and then what I will have. And when I started to say things like that, stuff started to leave my life, and other things started to come into my life. You see, like I said, a helpmeet. I exchanged a helpmeet. I said, Abba Yah, I just want what's true. So the fake woman left. I was like, oh, hold on a minute. I thought that was true. Nope, it wasn't. And you know in your heart it wasn't, brother. Stop tripping. You knew you was trying to get up out of that shit any way you could without trying to divorce. Stop playing games. Just you thought it was real, but it was your own will. You see? Ishmael was Abraham and Sarah's own will. Do y'all get it? So when he had to part with it in exchange for the son of promise, what did Sarah say? The son of the bondwoman shall not be heir with the son of the free woman. So the children of my new helpmeet will not be, the children of my old helpmeet will not be heirs with the children of my new one. And that caused great distress for me. Don't you hear it? Just like it did for Abraham. But Abraham kept it moving, and so did the grandson. Because I love Abba Yah more, and I'm proving it by doing that. Just like Abraham was proving it by taking that knife to his son Isaac. You see? So the same goes for y'all today, elect. You got to be prepared at the moment's notice to let go of anything that you can see with your eyes. You have to be prepared that if it leaves your life, that you are unmoved and unshaken. Yes, you will feel it, but that don't mean you got to go nowhere unmoved, you see? Just because you feel something don't mean you got to be moved by it. You see that? It proves that the woman is not ruling your house when you don't let your feelings rule your life. Quote that and keep it in your pocket forever, because it is something you can always use. That's something you will always be able to use. Keep it as a jewel in your pocket. So like I said, y'all, are you ready? And are you prepared to withstand great distress when it come to your life as elect? And if it has not come already, then it will come. But most of you elect have already endured your great distress, whether it was fighting for your life through some disease you had contracted. You had to fight for your life and now you're healthy. All praise to I am healthy in the highest. You see? Or whether it was great financial ruin, whether it was the loss of a child through death, whatever it was for you, drug overdose or drug addiction or whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that had a hold of you and you know what it was, to be delivered from it now and to be the new man, prepared as our master was to let go of this world at a moment's notice. If Abba call us home, that we not be looking back like Lot's wife, turning into a pillar of salt, ash, vaporized, looking back at death, longing for something there. To be free from this body is to never long to be in it again. Silawam Isra'elah.